Good evening and welcome to Whether or Not. I'm your host, Matt Yarosewick.
And I'm your forecaster, Christopher Tate.
And Chris, it's been a damp and dreary pattern we've been in the past couple of days at least.
Unfortunately, this is Pennsylvania though.
Yeah, It's a Pennsylvania winter. I know we're into February, but I hear the sun may be making an appearance soon.
That's right, Matt. We may get a brief glimpse of the sun as we head into the weekend before some more precipitation arrives later on. I'll have your details in the short-range forecast in just a bit.
Also on tonight's show, Chris brings us a Nature in the News story about a temperature record broken in the Antarctic just recently. And I have another story for you about another record that was broken over the Atlantic Ocean this past weekend.
And Hannah Evans recently made the trek to Vermont for a ski trip. She brings us a report on snow conditions there in just a few minutes. But first, here's Nature in the News. Antarctica is infamous for being brutally cold. In fact, the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth, minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, was observed at Vostok Station at a latitude of 78 degrees south in 1983. Now, temperatures on the continent are often below zero and almost always below freezing. Occasionally, though, temperatures do briefly peak above the freezing mark. Last week, the Argentinian Meteorological Agency posted this tweet, writing in part, "This afternoon, Esperanza Base registered a new historic temperature record since 1961 of 18.3 degrees Celsius. This surpasses the old record of 17.5 Celsius set on March 24, 2015. The reading was later corrected to 18.4 degrees Celsius, which is 65.1 degrees Fahrenheit, the highest temperature ever recorded on the continent. In fact, on February 6th, the date of the record, State College barely made it into the mid-30s. Parts of Antarctica were 30 degrees warmer than central Pennsylvania. Now, scientists are currently divided over whether climate change is to blame for this record, but most climate models do indicate that records like this will continue to be set across the continent in the future.
This past weekend, a British Airways flight from New York to London set a new subsonic record for flight time between the two cities. This setup was perfect with a jet streak set up in the North Atlantic. The jet streak is an area of very fast winds in the jet stream at about 30,000 feet in the atmosphere. This helps planes that are flying from west to east. They can actually ride in the jet stream, which can shave minutes or even hours off of the normally 6+ hour flight from the United States to Europe. A lot of planes took advantage of this jet stream setup over the weekend. There were a few planes which had flight times between New York and London of just under 5 hours. That's right, just under 5 hours. The fastest was British Airways Flight 112 from New York to London, a flight time of 4 hours and 56 minutes. This set a new record for the quickest subsonic flight between New York and London, which was set a few years back by a Norwegian flight. To put this into perspective, the British Airways flight reached a ground speed of about 825 miles per hour. A normal commercial jet reaches a ground speed of around 590 to 650 miles per hour. That being said, it was one quick flight for those heading from the U.S. to Europe this past weekend, thanks to a hefty tailwind.
With many areas in Pennsylvania having oddly mild winters this season, many people, myself included, have been left wondering where Old Man Winter has been hiding. Turns out he hasn't been anywhere near my home in North Carolina. The United States National Phenology Network, which tracks the appearance of spring blooms, announced recently that many locations along the Carolina coast are seeing their earliest indicators of spring since records began 4 decades ago. The primary indicator that spring is starting in a region is the first appearance of leaves on branches, called leaf out. Charlottesville, Virginia, officially recorded its leaf out 24 days ahead of normal, with Knoxville and Nashville, Tennessee coming in just a few days behind that. The long-range forecast indicates that the pattern of warmth over the southeast likely won't change much, so you can count on seeing more leaf outs and early blooms over the coming weeks. I'm back with your Central Pennsylvania forecast. We're going to start things off with a look at the maps. Valentine's Day, of course, this Friday. If you have any plans, especially in western Pennsylvania, may see a flurry or two here or there. Here in State College, I'm expecting mainly lake effect clouds, and it is going to be quite chilly across much of the Commonwealth and much of the Northeast, for that matter, in the wake of a departing storm system going to keep our temperatures well below average for this time of year. As we head into the day on Saturday, high pressure takes control over much of the Northeast, bringing us what could be our last sunny day here in Pennsylvania for some time. Do make sure you get out and enjoy it, because all good things must come to an end. And this band of snow associated with a cold front and low pressure system will be moving up out of the upper Ohio Valley into Pennsylvania, bringing mainly north and western Pennsylvania some scattered snow, maybe a little bit of a rain-snow mix along the Appalachians down towards West Virginia. Here in State College, I expect to see a few flurries late in the day. For your Valentine's Day forecast, only 23 degrees for your high this time of year. That's close to our normal low, just to put that in perspective for you. Mainly lake effect clouds. No, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of seeing a lake effect flurry here or there. And as we head into your date night on Friday night, only 9 degrees. That would be the first time this season that we have single-digit low temperatures. The lowest we've managed to get so far this season is 13 degrees, and with a forecast low of 9, it's going to be a great night to go to the movies and stay indoors. Saturday will be a little bit warmer, 32 degrees, temperatures rebounding under mostly sunny skies, and then on Sunday, clouds will be building in, a touch warmer on Sunday as well, with a high of 39 degrees. Now here's Hannah Evans bringing us a report on ski conditions from Vermont.
This weekend, I am in Stowe, Vermont to kind of see what the snow conditions are like this year and if man-made snow has anything to do with this. Compared to the conditions we had so far this year at State College, we have not been receiving a lot of snow, but this past weekend, February 8th, I'm here right now, Vermont has received 14 inches of snow in 24 hours.
Stowe Mountain Resort in Stowe, Vermont is one of the many famous resorts that avid snow lovers ski and snowboard on the East Coast. Stowe measures its snow and reports these conditions on their website. It has a brief overview of the weather commentary as well as a snow report. The snow report states what kind of snow is on the mountain at that moment, as well as overnight snowfall amount, 24-hour snowfall amount, 48-hour snowfall amount, and a 7-day snowfall report.
So we have, well, now we have 3. We just added a snow cam to the website, so you can watch, like, it's just a live feed on a snowboard with a stake coming out of it. But we have 2 other stakes, one in the base area and one about 2/3 of the way up the mountain. We call it the high road stake. It's just a ground-based, it's like a 18 by 18 board with a pole coming up in the middle to measure snow. We clear it off, put it back on, it floats on the snow, and we wait for the next snowfall.
Perfect conditions in Vermont are very common due to the amount of snowfall the Northeast gets compared to our snow in Center County. We do not get as much snow compared to this part of the country.
Most people really like, I always like the more snow the better, but for most of the skiers, it generally seems to be about like 6 to 10 inches is like what they can handle and what makes the best, skiing conditions. It doesn't get overly, because anything deeper than that gets really choppy once it's cut up. But I would say somewhere between 6 and 10 inches is probably the best for most of the skiing public.
Just like a meteorologist would do, the managers at Stowe create a forecast for their guests. The forecasts include everything from the temperature and feels like temperature to the snow conditions and the amount of snowfall.
We use a lot of the National Weather Service stuff. Myself, I look at a lot of the weather models through vendors like Weatherbell, and we even use the Penn State eWall program. I use that a lot sometimes. So, but we look a lot at the National Weather Service because they're really good at forecasting for the mountain.
Although the snow in Stowe is mostly from our good friend Mother Nature, they also make artificial snow as well. Artificial snow lasts longer than real snow, and it is easy to make the snow into that perfect skiing and snowboarding powder.
Make a lot of snow. We need to, it's just in the say we get unfortunately, we get plenty of rain as well. Not as much as further south, but it does happen in the winter. So we do make plenty of snow. It makes us get through into April. So we usually have to get towards like the third week of April is when we want to keep the mountain open till, and just to make sure that we have enough snow. And that man-made snow is really dense, like heavy, it's wetter stuff. It's really durable. So when it does warm up, it doesn't melt as fast. It's not, it's not like getting a fluffy bunch of snow and then the first day it's 40 degrees, it all disappears. So that man-made snow is really, it's kind of got a low water to snow ratio, and it lasts a while.
So there you have it. The weather conditions up here in northern area around in Vermont have been much different than what we have been receiving now in Center County. From Penn State's Weather or Not, I'm Hannah Evans.
And I'm back with your extended forecast, which will take us into the second full week of February. But first, we need to get through the weekend. Here is your weekend recap. Friday going to be a very cold Valentine's Day here in State College and across much of the Commonwealth as a whole. 23 degrees will be your high. And for the first time, we may see lows in the single digits. I'm calling for a low of 9 Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday, we do warm up nicely and have lots of sun, possibly for the last time for several days, a high around 32, and then that warms up to the upper 30s, maybe even to the low 40s in some areas on Sunday. Clouds are going to be building in advance of our next storm system, bringing a little bit of snow late in the afternoon and evening. Monday and Tuesday are going to start off above average here in State College. Tuesday, a slight chance of some scattered rain thanks to a low pressure system riding up out of the Ohio Valley, but that's where the temperature roller coaster is going to begin. Wednesday and Thursday set to be below average in the temperature department. Clouds are going to be clearing as we head into the latter half of next week, and Friday shaping up to be a pretty decent day. Temperature is going to be hovering in the low 40s for most of us, and Matt, you may have noticed on that extended forecast, I put a sun icon. That means it's going to be mostly sunny.
A little bit of sunshine. I know the temperature roller coaster.
Yeah, we have to make it through that, but
right.
we'll look forward to Friday.
That's a little price that we pay for a little bit of sunshine here in Central
Absolutely.
PA, especially in the month of February.
Yeah, in February it will be nice to get some sun because we are usually very cloudy this time of year.
Yeah, and on our Weather Whiz Quiz question, we weren't talking about sunshine. No, we were actually talking about snow. Our Weather Whiz Quiz question was, what is the largest single-day snowfall total on Valentine's Day in State College? Was it A, 11.7 inches, B, 11.1 inches, C, 9.8 inches, or D, 8.6 inches? And if you said A, 11.7 inches, you are correct.
So that 11.7 inches came on February 14th, 1940, part of a multi-day event that brought a lot of snow to much of the Northeast. And just like we'll be seeing on Friday, temperatures in the wake of it were below normal for at least a little while.
Yeah, and no snow in the forecast.
Nope, none that I can see.
At least for now. I know we're still into February, so there's still a chance of some snow.
Absolutely.
But seeing that sunshine is exactly what all of us like to see.
Indeed, Matt.
Yep, that's all the time we have for tonight's episode. Make sure you join us right here, same time, same place, next week for another episode of Weather or Not. I'm Matt Yarosewick, your host for the evening.
And I'm Christopher Tate, your forecaster.
Have a great rest of your night.